Hello, dear listener, and welcome to Zealand. The world in which we are playing in will go to some dark places. The content of this series will therefore be violent and dark in nature, so if you find yourself easily offended or are rather squeamish, please do look away.
Kia ora guys, gals, and legionnaires. Rycon here and welcome back to Zealand. This is Chapter 5, Part 1, Silent Night. And, well, it's been a while since we've had Zealand. It's been quite a long time. We are in a different location. We're trying a different setup for recording. In the previous time we attempted to record this, unfortunately my computer fell to pieces. It's been put back together again. It's not undead, but it's alive, at the very least. So, in the previous chapter, finishing off, we found ourselves all huddled together in the bunkhouses. All of you were in bunkhouse 2. Along with you were the majority of the females from the island group, the others all being in the other bunkhouse. And so it was a sound sleep. You'd had a funeral earlier on. It's been a cathartic process for everyone on the island. It was a quiet night, until that silence was eventually broken by a booming in the distance. A booming that at first sounded like thunder to you, but then became slightly more recognizable, sounding more like an explosion. You're brought from your sleep, awoken by this noise. Finding yourselves in the darkness takes you a second to pick out your surroundings, where you are, where you've been sleeping, and you can just make out each other in the dim light. And you can see through the cracks in the boards that have been put up on these windows a faint glow from the moonlight outside. It is a clear night, it is a quiet night. Apart from in the distance, the boom, boom, intermittent sounds. What do you all do?
Get up.
Okay.
I guess we
Get changed, get prepared for shit to go wrong.
Okay, alright, so you start
Pretty much, yeah.
going into your bags that are closest to you, you start gearing up. You're doing this all in silence at this point, and you do hear some of the others stirring, and across the room from you, you hear Willow call out in the darkness and say to you all, what's going on? What's that noise?
we don't know. This exploded. Can someone go check the window? They're all boarded up, aren't
There are cracks. That's how I said you're seeing the moonlight.
they? Go. So can we see where we at?
So in the
Able to see
bunkhouses at the moment,
anything from where
you're
we
all
are?
kind of on this side. Some of the others are here. There's sleeping bags and other mattresses that have been put down on the ground in here. Some like inflatable mats and stuff like that. Like not the super inflatable ones, but some that are a kind of decent level are placed up inside of there.
Alright. Well, once I get changed, we we have radios on us, right? We have radios.
Indeed, you do have
We all
radios.
do, yeah. Radio through to whoever's on watch.
Okay.
Go, hey, watch. This is Jake. What's going on up there?
Okay. You hear a voice calling back to you, and it's Kevin. I don't know. I can see a light in the distance. It's coming from out towards the sea.
Wait, guys, where's Skull?
You look around the room, and Skulk is not there.
Is he supposed to be on watch or something? I don't know. Who was meant to be on watch?
It's hard to tell what stage of the night you're at right now.
Yeah.
He was within the line of people that was meant to be on watch.
He may
So
be
it
on
could be the
watch.
time when he's meant to be on watch currently.
We were supposed to go on last, right?
Hey Kevin,
In the morning.
is Skulk there with you?
No. I haven't seen him myself.
Oh Christ.
Look, that light that I'm seeing, it's orange. It's a glow. It's intermittent, but it's timed with those booms, and they're distant. At least they sound like they're distant. I
Alright.
can't make out much from back here.
Let's grab some binoculars and go check it out.
Right, I'm with you.
You can break it in half.
Okay.
It's off forever.
Okay, he turns that off. The binoculars aren't. I mean, you've usually got those with you, correct? Okay, so Triton does actually have those linked around his neck. I imagine you probably weren't sleeping with them though.
No, it's when I was got changed and everything.
Oh, okay, you had them ready. Okay, so
For shit to go
you
wrong.
hand those out, and as this is all happening, some of the others in the room start stirring as well. And in the corner, you can see Amber, who you all haven't talked to very much at this moment, and you can see that she's not really saying anything, but she's kind of looking up towards you all in this dim light that you all have in here. And she has her small child tucked up against her, and the child is currently asleep at this stage, but she's looking out apprehensively towards the rest of you, and Willow's coming over to her and trying to talk to her, just in whispered tones. I need you all to roll a perception check for me now.
Okay.
It's just a flat perception check. Same for you, Nikki.
I fail.
18 pass.
I don't have eyes. Yeah, neither.
Okay, what about yourself, Nick?
I failed.
Okay, so
guy.
while you're all getting ready, getting dressed and stuff like that, you're focused on that task. Triton, you do notice something that catches your ears.
Earrings.
A sound coming from outside. And it's a sound that kind of immediately sets you to a strange sensation inside you. A kind of like a stomach churning sound of sorts. It sounds like water slowly draining out the bottom of a bath. Just this deep, draining sound.
Take my bathtubs.
Is I kind of just curiously with the crutches go over to the windows, to the slits in the windows, and I'm kind of just looking out. I'm just
the windows that you have as an option, you've got a window here, and you've got windows on that side there.
where am I hearing the sound come from? Directionless or?
It's hard to pick it, because right now you're all kind of in and around this area here. If you had to guess, you'd say it's probably coming from this side.
Okay, well I hit kind of somewhere around there, so let's try to get some kind of angle on it, kind of
so
see
you,
if I can see anything.
you with your crutch in your hand, you make your way across the room, and the others that are there do kind of pick up on you moving, and Amber's looking nervously at you. Jen as well is in this room, and she's kind of looking at you.
And when I kind of look out the window, I'm kind of just, as I'm looking, I kind of say, "Do you guys hear that?"
Do we hear that?
Do I see anything
Okay.
as well? Honestly.
All right, as he says, "Do you hear this?" You do kind of just stop moving. Everyone stops moving all of a sudden, and you're just listening, and you do hear this sound coming from outside, coming from the bush. This sound, just this. Sounds kind of like an overweight dog. No. Breathing deeply.
Doesn't sound like the motor of that thing we have near the path.
No, it doesn't sound like a motor.
Okay.
No, but it does sound unlike anything you've really ever heard before.
Are we hearing any other sounds accompanying it?
No, but now that you're being quiet
What the fuck is that?
and silent, your ears start to train to the sound outside. And you do notice that there is a lack of sound. You're used to birds, moorhawks calling out in the night, hearing screeches, hearing the sounds of the night. That was frightening. Not only that, but the insects as well. And right now, there is nothing. There is silence, and then there is that intermittent. And then, slowly but surely, you begin to hear something else, something more. What sounds like more than one of this sound.
I turn my radio down quite a bit, so it's barely sort of audible, and I radio through down to thing to go, turn your radio down. Do you hear that?
Okay, you call through.
Yeah. And I'm keeping it up to my ear, so it's down
Yeah.
basically.
And he whispers back to you. Yes, I hear. There's something fucking out there.
Do you have eyes on it? I'm whispering.
Okay.
No. We've got no torches on. I can't see anything, but I can hear. It sounds like more than one.
If we stay quiet long enough, they might go to the other sounds. To the explosions.
I'm moving inside now.
So yeah, I have my hand up there, but like, the radio's like just fucking like
Just like right up against there. Okay, alright.
I'm gonna keep them calm. You keep the others safe in there for now. We'll come up with a plan. The windows are boarded.
Yeah.
We need to watch the doors. Block your doors, we'll block ours.
Try and do that quietly.
Yeah. Over.
And you hear it goes silent. Some of you could just make out what Kevin was saying on the radio, but it was difficult to hear because Jake had it right up against his ear. So at this point, you can hear this noise. And this noise, which sounded originally like it was coming from this side and in the bush, seems to be becoming more and more ever present around you, almost as though you're being surrounded by the sound. And as you're all kind of sitting in there, and the others are starting to come too, and they're all kind of, everyone's just staying super, super quiet right now and listening to this noise. You can see the panic on their faces. This odor begins to hit you, and it is a smell of rot and decay and death like you have never smelt before.
Typing.
You have been around
Wait,
death
what?
a lot at this stage, but you haven't smelt something to this degree so far. It is something that really makes your stomach drop, and you feel like the sensation is like starting to build into a form of like wanting to be sick, wanting to get away from the smell as it slowly kind of starts to seep.
Alright, I want to radio through, that's what I'm... Did anyone make any noise? Anyone use any light? Why are they coming straight here?
The only thing I can think of is it's the other noise right now. If we stay quiet, you're right, we might be okay.
Why are they staying around? I'm whispering. Why are they staying around?
I'm whispering to it. I'm like, they're not. There's probably just that many of them. And
I'm looking, I can't see. I can't see anything out there. Not shadows, not anything.
I'm not so sure staying put and hoping they just pass us is a good idea if there's that many.
We don't know how many.
We can't even see them yet, and this is how loud it is.
Yeah, but they could be in the bushes.
I know, but just for us to not even be close enough to
You
see
hear
them.
So we can smell them.
footsteps outside on the steps on the front of this bunkhouse, and you can hear almost what sounds like a scratching along the boards, along the walls, along this bunkhouse, and you can see everyone just instantly just shrink slightly in themselves as some of the others do into the corners of this building. In here with you, to give you an idea of everyone that's in here with you, you've got both Jen, Willow, you've got Amber and Olivia, her young one, and you've also got Anna and Elsa. Tucked away in the corner, who actually are both asleep at this point. They haven't been woken up by the trouble.
That's terrible. Do we hear them sniffing? Are they any sort of...
It's difficult to tell, like, how, it depends on what part of the room you're in. You're going to have to get closer to be able to hear that kind of sound.
I mean, like, how loud is someone actually go? Like, compared to all the other noises
Yeah,
that
but
they're
it could be
making, the
down there.
footsteps.
But it could be quite exaggerated, trying to
Roll perception for me. It depends how close to the wall you want to get. Because right now you're all kind of situated in the centre of the room.
Are you going to get up close?
Yeah, okay. So there's one of them down there, eh?
You can hear what sounds like one out here, yeah. And this is the window that has no glass in, but is boarded up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to roll?
Yeah, I'm just thinking if I move first.
Yeah, so I just need to know if he moves, because then I'll apply a
Bonuses
modifier
and
based
such,
upon
yeah.
that.
Alright, yeah, I'll move. Which way does the door open? Inwards or outwards?
This one, it opens inwards.
So yeah, I'll move behind the door and then I'll set myself up so I'm like sort of ready to barricade the door, keep it shut.
Okay, alright. That's going to get you a plus 20 to your roll.
Yeah. Nah.
Plus 20 to skill.
Yeah, sorry, to your skill. Yeah.
Yeah.
No? Okay. Alright, so you do listen, but you can't hear any kind of sniffing or sniffling. All you hear is this sound, and it's hard to hear it underneath any of that, this sound that sounds like you might think it's breathing, but it sounds just so fluidy and just off-putting and very, very unhuman. And still, like, you catch yourself for a second because you feel and you hear that on the window right outside, right where you are. And there's a pause where that breathing stops for a second. You can hear the other breathing, but the breathing that's right outside there, the sound, halts.
I probably hold as well.
Okay, alright. No one in the building is moving right now. And you do, for a second, think that you can hear a very kind of phlegmy intake of air. And again, still silence. All of this noise coming from further away. And then all of you hear a noise that's slightly more distant. It sounds like a voice, a muffled voice. Don't you fucking tell me what to do! I fucking have it! Don't fucking do! Now the fucking problem is up! What fucking do? And as this voice calls out, all of those sounds stop. Silence. And then become louder. And a more aggressive tone takes on as the sound starts to move away from your bunkhouse, and you can hear the movement of feet on your bunkhouse towards the other, and you can hear an almost howl that starts to build up from these things, just this again, an incredibly unsettling sound. And the children that are in the room with you, Elsa now awake, and Olivia, the other child, are in tears, and the mothers are trying to hold them up in the corner, and everyone is showing that same sense of fear on their face at this point.
Well, gee, Jack, it's good you told them to keep their kids quiet.
No, I didn't know who else was there around them.
Right, yeah, I know, I'm just teasing.
Alright, so
Okay.
are we hearing stuff, like, are we hearing anything behind us now, like over towards the the east side of the map or the north side of the map?
Over this side, you're hearing movement and noise coming from either side of you at this stage, and you can hear battering up against this side. You can hear
Can I see out that window that I'm right next to?
outside this one here.
Yeah, I'm
I mean,
gonna take a look out
you're
for
like
it.
up against it, and you're peeking through like a thin slit right now. It's difficult to see, and it is dark outside. You do have the moonlight to help you, so I'm going to give you a plus 15
I want to
to
look
your skill check.
as well.
Okay, all right. I'll give you both the same.
2.
I passed.
Yeah. So not that good a pass, but it's still a pass.
Okay, so in the darkness, in the moonlight, it's difficult to first of all determine the shapes, but then you can kind of see them because you realize that some of them have like a brightness to them in a sense, and you can almost make out what looks to be it's strange. You're seeing like white clothing, but you can see a number of these creatures up against the side of the building.
Can I see anything over here?
I can't see that.
Oh, sorry, right.
Describe for me, good sir.
So down to
out
the right.
the front. Okay, out the
front.
window
Yeah.
and to the front. If we're
Like
looking
this
out
way?
of it.
Oh yes, yeah. So you were seeing silhouettes, shadows moving from out of here and over towards this building at this stage.
Alright, so I was gonna radio through, but hold on as long as you can. Once they stop coming, well, sorry, I'm whispering on the radio.
Yeah.
Hold on as long as you can. Once they've finished coming past us, we're gonna circle around and draw them away. We're gonna draw them towards the boat shed and stuff.
Okay. All right.
So
So
I'll point to Nick and go like, me and you.
okay. All right. So it's a tense few moments. You're not hearing anything back on the radio at this stage, but those that were filtering around you have now surrounded this other bunkhouse. There seem to be a few stragglers, and in the dim light you're able to make out what looks to be some that might be still moving through the grass that can't move so well.
So I'll whisper to Nick, it's like, so how many did I see or estimate?
Roughly, it's difficult to make out in the darkness, but you've definitely seen over 10 individuals.
Yeah. So how many sort of more sitting in that sort of area, slowly making it across?
Slowly making it across,
Yeah.
you'd say that there's probably 3,
No.
but it's difficult to make out in the darkness.
Right. There's a couple of slow ones. I'm whispering. Dodge them if we can. Knock them down if we can't. Kill them if we have to. But we're going to circle around and then make some noise. We'll go down towards the beach and just draw them straight down to the beach and go for one of the boats. And we'll get to the second chance.
Let's do it.
But what about the others?
Once we draw them away, I need you guys to go to the other bunkhouse, and if these are fast ones, we're fucked. If they're the slow ones, you guys can pick them out from behind. Don't shoot, it's going to cause too much noise, and it's also we'll be in the firing line. Take them out one at a time to work together.
We haven't done this before.
If they're focused on us, with Kevin and Jonah and Dan and Chloe, you guys, we have to just work together as a team. You know, if you take them one at a time, that's fine. We're going to draw them into the water, but we can't shoot because we're both going to be on each other's firing lines. We'll be on the radio, so if you need to shoot, make sure we're out of the way and we'll do the same.
Okay.
We're going to go.
Okay. I'll organise the others in here. I'll make sure that we're ready if you're going to need us.
If we need to, we can do a little bit of pig in the middle. We draw them towards us, you draw them towards you, we draw them towards us, we draw them towards you.
Okay.
Ready, Nick?
You can hear at the building on the other side. You can hear you can hear what sounds like the planks. Some of the planks, they seem to be stressed under the weight, under the pulling and tearing of these
Okay, you guys
creatures.
need to go now.
Yeah, alright. Close the door quietly as soon as we leave. And open the door.
Okay, so
Feel the cold air on my breath.
indeed you do. You open the door, and the first thing that happens when you open the door is the full wave of this stench just washes over you, and it's horrible. It is horrible, and it's just
Jake left us a parting gift.
Sorry, guys.
yes, yeah,
scary moment.
definitely, it's terrible. And it's as you get outside as well, you do notice that it is very difficult to see out here. You've been in this area well enough to know where things are, but to make out individuals in the darkness is not easy.
Okay, so we're gonna just go.
Okay. So with a very limited view range, this is kind of what you're looking at the
Yeah.
moment. Both you and Nick move out here onto the deck.
Yeah.
Intention is to move where? For both of you.
So where are our dinghies? That's the main thing.
I don't close the door just yet.
Okay, alright, so Chloe is standing at the door, the door's at the ready, both of you have walked out. The dinghies are down on the shore, they've been brought up towards the boathouse.
Are they to the boathouse? So
Adjacent to the old boathouse.
Right, so they're not directly south of, well not south, but whatever.
Not directly south of you, no. So all landings have been done over by the boat shed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the terrain of the beach is what? It's rocks, right?
It's pebbles, yeah, so it's like rocky pebble beach. Yeah. Some large, some small.
Alright, so we're just going to go straight south, down there, fire a shot up, and then we're going to...
Okay, so you're going to try and cut through... You're going to try and cut through the bush and go down, yes?
No, zoom out.
The pathway, yeah?
Yeah, just basically just...
Yeah.
It's almost straight down, like leads straight to the... There's no bush directly below.
Let me just have a quick look. Let's just have a quick look here. Yeah, so it is a little bit of bush. It's a little bit of bush.
So we're going to go for the bush, yeah.
Just a tad. Just a tad bushy. So that's your intention. Okay, so as you come out onto the deck, I need both you and Nick to roll perception checks for me, and these are both going to be at a -15.
What?
I'm gonna use the job.
It's not for you, it's just for Nick and Jake.
You said both of us and Nick.
Oh, sorry, I mean just both of you.
Oh,
yeah, sorry,
okay,
sorry.
right.
So you're
I was
inside at the
confused.
stage.
Nowhere
Yeah.
near.
Okay, and you, Nick?
Pass.
Pass. Okay. All right. So as you come out onto the balcony, as you're on the deck here, and as Jake's about to step off and down onto the grass to start trying to move away, Nick, in front of him on the grass, you see something slowly starting to move its way over towards the other bunkhouse, currently unaware of the two of you.
I would grab him by the collar and
Yeah, you feel
stop.
Nick just like grab you
Stop.
from behind.
I point it down to the thing I see moving.
Okay, so you see this dark shade of Nick's hand reaching past you and just like pointing down to something in front of you, and you can see something that has, it's struggling to like get back up onto its feet. You can see that it's trying, but it's kind of slipping ever so slightly, and it doesn't seem to be quite able to get back onto its feet.
Alright, so...
And it's laying out this way. Head is in this direction here, feet are out in that direction, and essentially you and Nick are on this set of stairs here.
Alright, so I just go... I'm gonna grab it, you...
It's okay.
Alright,
Okay.
so I'm gonna grab it.
Okay, so it is currently lying down on the ground at this stage. So both you and Nick come first in the initiative order. What's your intention, my friend?
Grapple it on the ground and...
Okay, all right. Roll to grapple. You're in a superior position right now, so I'm going to give you a +40 to that.
I win. Wait, do I? What's my grapple? I win.
Roll. We'll see how much you win by.
64.
Yeah, I mean that's good. It's a pretty secure grapple.
So what happens there? So that total right now is 110.
Yeah.
Yes, you can't fail.
You can't fail, but you can-
succeed in multiple.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how does that extra 10 add to? Do we add that to degrees at all, or is it just
No.
just
No. No.
simple one?
No.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not going to be able. Well, no, it could potentially. No, it can't. It can't succeed at that. So you do manage to grab hold of it. How do you want to grapple it at this stage, though? Like, what's your kind of technique? Is there anything specific, or you just want to like hold it so that make it easier for Nick to hit it?
I want it to sort of. It's got both arms with it.
It does. It does. As far as you can tell in the darkness, it seems to have two arms. It's trying to get back up. Its right leg does seem to be quite badly damaged.
Right. So then I want to sort of just lean on whatever side, so the left leg side.
Yeah.
Make sure I've got more weight on that, and sort of just grab the back of the neck.
Yep.
And just sort of grab one of the arms, and probably I'll grab the arm where the side neck's coming from.
Okay.
And then sort of just lean
Lean it into
on.
the ground
Yeah.
type thing. Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah, you start putting all your weight into this thing, and as it kind of goes
You know
into the
exactly
ground.
how that feels like that.
I do. I actually know how that feels. It doesn't feel great. You'll see that one day. And so yeah, you do. And as you kind of do push it into the ground, you feel its arm pop ever so slightly from the weight that you were putting onto it, and it kind of feels a little bit like when you've got a chicken and you're cleaning the chicken and it's all a little loose, and that's what it feels like. And being this close to this thing as well, and actually having your hands on it, you can feel what seems to be like a sliminess to it, like something is slipping off it, and you're not quite sure what that is in the darkness, but it feels gooey, doesn't feel great, and it smells terrible. Nick, it is your turn.
I would follow up by pressing my knife. into, if I can, the back of its head. If not, just wherever I can.
Okay, you are in a superior position. This thing is currently grappled very well by Jake. Roll for it, and I'm going to give you a plus 40 to it, just to see if you are able to hit it and get a special, but essentially this is a coup de grace for you.
Yep, I passed with a 60.
A 60, okay, alright, yeah, no. This is a coup de grace for you, my friend. He is completely locked down, and you do take your knife. Seeing the direction of its head, you do start to like push it in, and there's resistance for a second, but then you do feel it just slip in to something gooey, and this thing loses all resistance whatsoever, and the little noise that it was making as it was pushed in down into the dirt ceased. It is now still.
Is it muddy over here?
It is semi-muddy. It's been raining, but it hasn't rained in a little while, so it's still damp, you know.
As to get back up, I sort of want to roll in the mud just a little bit, you know.
Okay,
and then
all right.
Get up on my knees and then sort of just, you know.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, you see Jake, Nick. You see him roll over, and he starts like covering himself in a little bit of the mud that's around them. Chloe, you can see this from inside. Have you closed the door over at this point?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. All right. So yeah, you see a tussle happening in the darkness. It's hard to make out what's going on with all the different shadows, but it seems like they're okay at this stage.
And then Jake drops his knee and starts rolling around in the mud. I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe they're okay, but are they?
As you kind of like finish your rolling and you get back up, you do, Nick, you notice as you're kind of like watching Jake do his little rollover, you do notice something from the building over here, which seems to have its attention over towards the little water trough, water collector thing, the jiggy, turns its attention over towards the two of you and starts slowly making its way towards you. You can't really make out anything more than that this is a humanoid shape in the darkness, because it is still dark. The moonlight is helping, but it's difficult to make this thing out. But you can make out it's coming towards you.
Right. So we all, both of us?
Both of you are aware of this now.
Right.
As you stand up, you see this thing shambling towards you.
Alright, so I just go, whispering, lag behind, and just come out from behind when I distract it. So
Can I see this thing?
You can. Oh, well, actually, roll perception for me. It's going to be minus 15.
No.
These dice suck.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I'm going down, I don't want to make any noise until it gets a lot closer, and then I'll just start with a, just like, not clicking my fingers, but just like
Oh,
this.
just like a little.
Just
okay.
like that, and then if that doesn't work, I'll just up it a little bit, sort of thing, and then just until.
Okay, so you asked Nick to lag behind, so Nick.
So I'll start moving down as
Yep.
it's coming that way.
Yeah, so
I'll
it's
get
coming-
it. So
yeah,
then
come
once
towards you
I've sort of
there.
gone past it, and then I'll start
Okay.
just getting it towards me.
All right, Nick, I need you to roll a minus 15 perception check for me, and Jake, I need you to roll a minus 30 perception check for me.
It's gonna be minus 30.
What
really?
was mine? Sorry.
Minus 15 for you.
Minus 15. Okay. I pass.
Minus 30. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, Nick, what was that?
I pass with a 39.
You pass.
Fail.
Okay.
It's a good roll too. This time.
Man's got your back today. As Jake is doing his little, like, trying to get this thing's attention towards Nick, you see a shadow coming out from under this tree, moving towards Jake. Jake unaware that this thing is slowly starting to shamble towards him, and it does seem to have it seems to have like a lot of lethargy. It's very slow in its movements, but again, you can't really make out any kind of facial features or any kind of bodily features from this thing.
How close is it?
It's here by the tree. Jake is here, and this other undead is over this side here, and you're back over here by the other body.
Okay, so if I'm not beyond it, my direction would be going that way. Actually,
Going-
probably would be that way.
Going that way, yeah. Starting
Yeah.
to take it that way, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you
Oh,
haven't
no,
noticed
I
at this
would-
stage because you had your eyes on this thing, but it's like as you start to turn around, Nick, you notice this thing first. What's your intention?
I would go up and shove the other one over.
Shove the other one over. So
Yeah, I have to go and run and shove the one behind Jake.
this one here. Okay, all right. So, Jake, as you are like calling this thing over, and as you start to turn, you sense movement near you, and it's Nick moving over towards this thing. And Nick, as you move towards it, you're able to get to it perfectly fine before it's able to take an action against you. I need you to roll might. Might. And it's just going to be flat. It's going to be flat. Actually, no, hang on. Are you charging? Like, are you running at it, or are you? What's your kind
moving quickly? Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to give you a plus 20 to that.
So, I rolled 39. So
Yeah, plus 20. Plus 20. Sorry, what was that, Nick?
I rolled 39, so it's passed.
39. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So as you run towards it, it gives you like a second of resistance as it puts its hands out towards you, and you can kind of get a moment of that breath hitting you in the face, and it's not pleasant. But you grab this thing and shove it. And no, your intention wasn't to go down with it, right? It was just to shove this thing over.
Just to shove it.
Yeah. So yeah, you shove it, and it takes a few steps, and it starts tumbling backwards, and then bam, it's flat down on the ground at this point.
Alright.
It rolls around to you. It is now your turn.
Right,
Good
so
sir.
with that happening, I would essentially just disengage from that one. And so how close is Nick to me?
Nick's relatively close. So he's here. This thing has been pushed down onto the ground. It's fallen down beneath this tree. It's difficult to see in the darkness, but you know it's there. What you gonna do?
How fast is that one? The one that
This one hasn't been moving very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I want to do is I want to go and do what we did with that one there. Do we have enough time? Do I think we have enough time, and it's that one's movements to engage that one?
You imagine you might be able to make it over there, but by the time you make it over there, start dispatching that one,
Yeah.
it is going to be
So
at
yeah,
Nick.
then I'm just going to just tap Nick on the shoulder and then go, let's just draw them both.
So you tap Nick on the back, pointing to the south, intending to try and lead these things away. Nick, you do kind of get the signal from Jake. What's your intention at this point? What are you planning to do?
I will follow.
You're going to follow along with them? Okay, so as this one nears you and starts trying to like reach out towards you with, well, again, it's dark, you can't quite tell, but what looks like an arm, you'd hope it's an arm, you start moving down away from here. And you are moving relatively quickly, but it is difficult to see as well. You're going more off memory than anything, to not expect there to be anything that will impede your progress. I need both of you to roll a perception check for me with a minus 30 at this point.
Fail.
Minus 30.
Minus 30
Fail.
to your skill. Okay, all right. As you're running past, you can make out, it's difficult to tell numbers here, but you can see what seems to be like a decent number of these shadowy creatures up against the building here. Some of them you can actually hear the outdoor furniture getting pushed around, but you do hear, again, like what sounds like the boarding starting to weaken, and in some places you can hear nails squeaking as they're kind of pulled out. You can hear something down here rummaging around in a tent outside. So looking down towards the tent, you can see one of these things that you've been seeing kind of tearing through it at this point, and you can tell that the tent has been knocked down, and it seems to be kind of like tearing through it. Things are getting like moved around, and it seems to like be slipping over in it and getting back up again. And what's the intention from both of you?
Let's just keep moving. We're going to go with the original plan. We're going to get down, out of the way, make a sound, lure them away, and then make it to the dinghies, get to the second chance, get some lights on them, and obviously, yeah, do stuff.
Okay, all right. So you attempt to start moving away from do stuff. That's a really good plan. I like it. It's a very good plan. It's a solid plan. You start to move away from the bunkhouse, and as you do move away from the tents and this noise, you can still hear more of this noise around you. You know that there are others in the bushes around here that might not have made it to the bunkhouses at this point. It is, again, it's very, very dark. You're having to slow down at this point because you are going through where there are some trees. You're trying to follow the trail, but there are things hitting your face, so you're naturally slowing down to try and block some of those things.
Well, if it gets pretty dark when we get in there, probably would.
It's dark.
Torch.
It is dark.
Yeah, probably
It
get
is
a torch
dark.
on. Don't want to get stabbed in the eye or something. So
Okay, all right. So just you're turning on your torch.
Yeah.
Okay, where are you firing that sucker? Just out in front of you?
yeah, right in my eyes. No, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Run the wrong way.
Along this trail, as you do turn on the light, instantly in front of you, approximately around about 10 feet away, you see two figures, which seem to be kind of more looking off and towards the distance, kind of just like their heads turn around towards you, and you can see these a lot clearer. They are wearing what looks to be like a white uniform of sorts, and they have something over the top of them, an orange jacket that you've seen on some of the others that were burnt and discarded. It is like a life vest. Some of these aren't properly inflated on some sides. It looks like there's been some damage to it as well. And both of these creatures seem bloated, and there are parts of their face that's sagging down, and you can see that they are more decayed than some of the other dead that you've seen so far, and there is almost a slime and a gleam to them. That same smell is just in the air everywhere, and as they look towards you, they make that same guttural drainage sound as they turn and just start moving towards that light source.
Right, I'll just say, as we're running, to be like, just go around them, don't touch them.
Okay, you hear the call from Jake and Nick as you're trying to move through. This is like you're moving through the bush at this point. They're starting to make a lunge towards you. I'm going to need you both to make an athletics check to see if you're going to be able to.
Can I aim
Get
at
out of
one
here.
if the light's on them?
You can't see them at this point. So you're standing there with the bunkhouse door still open, yeah?
I guess so, yeah.
They're down.
They're all the way down there?
They're all the way down here. So you can see a light turn on
Okay.
at this point as they're still moving away. No one else inside has made any noise at this point, right? So like
I'm
either
looking at the back window, the same place I was before.
before? Okay, all right. Okay. So, athletics, both of you, just flat.
Fail.
Fail.
Okay.
Boys, are you sure you don't want to use it?
Okay, so as you do start to try and like move through and move around them, you're not quite able to get away from them before they're able to get enough in your face that you're going to have to take some kind of action against them. Either you can attempt to attack, or you can still attempt to flee. You can attempt to flee if you wish to, but now we are in initiative. Both you and Nick are first in this round, though. So you can attempt to move away, but they are both close to you.
So are we in the capability of charging still at them?
You are moving at speed, so yeah, you could potentially try and charge. It's just the way that you've been trying to move through the bush. You're not going to be able to get around them on the path that you're currently on. You'd have to try and start bush bashing, and that's going to slow your progress on
So
that.
yeah, if we can't quite get out of the way, it would just be run through and just try and the shotgun. So it'd be fucking. Sort of
Okay, who wants to go the first out of the two of you?
Oh, I might as well.
All right. Okay.
So
all
what
right.
am I doing? Fight.
Yeah, you're charging. It's going to be fight, and it's going to be a +20 to your roll.
29 pass.
Okay, 29 pass. Fantastic. All right. Okay, all right. So, as you do charge towards it, now you're trying to just like knock it over?
Yeah. Actually,
okay.
what Nick did to the other one.
Knock it completely on its ass?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, you do move in towards it, and again, like, it spins towards you and kind of outreaching. You do kind of like move around its arms, and it grabs a hold of you for a second, but you use that momentum to just like push the shotgun up and into it, and this thing topples backwards onto the ground, now lying flat on its ass.
Yeah.
The light kind of goes off him at this point as you've got it in your hand. So at this point, Nick, you can't quite clearly see the other one, but you were still moving towards the two of these. What's your action at this point? What's your intention?
I can't even see a silhouette.
You can still make it out because essentially you had your eyes on it before. It's just you can't see it well.
It would be the same as what I did with the last one. Just shove it. One Nick, shove it.
Okay, all right. You also get a +20 to your roll.
Yep, pass, 48.
Pass 48. Okay. Okay. You both ended up getting this so close. All right, so same thing. Like it's difficult for you to make out in the darkness exactly how this thing's coming, and you do feel it grab a hold of you as you start to move in. But same thing, you both kind of move in simultaneously, knocking these two things to the floor, to their asses, and they both drop down and they're flat on their ass at this point. And as they do kind of get to the ground, they squirm for a second and they come back around. One of them attempting to grab out towards your leg, Jake. Okay, all right. It reaches out towards you, and it's flailing. So it's like it tries to reach out. It's just and just tries to get towards your ankle, and it doesn't quite manage. The other one that you've knocked on its ass as well, Nick, it tries to get back up and around to try and get towards you. Its legs are kind of lashing about on the ground when it's flailing essentially at this point. And it's nowhere near you. So it's flailing as it's trying to get back up. Its legs are kind of going back and forth as it's trying to get up in this muddy terrain around you, but it doesn't quite manage. And that one's still on its ass. The other one is kind of on its way back up at this point, but you're both considered to be in a superior position to them at this stage, knocking them both to the ground in the previous round. It's now round to your 2 turns. What is your intention, boys?
So one's getting out.
One is on its way up. The one that tried to grab at you, it's not up yet. So you're still in a superior position to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I want to grapple it and go and tell Nick to go for the head.
Okay, all right. So roll to grapple. You are in a superior position, so it's going to be you can be using your fight to be able to do this. So you're going to get a plus 40 to it.
All right, so it's 110 again.
That's 110 again.
And that's 33.
Okay, all right. So it's a pretty good grapple. It's not bad. Again, it doesn't really have much of a chance to defend against this. Actually, no. No, it doesn't. No, it can't. So yeah, you do. You get your arms up underneath of it, and you're trying to. Are you going down to its level, or are you trying to pull it up towards you to have it ready for Nick to strike? Or
that's very aggressive. Yeah, pull up towards me. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get a great hold of this thing, pulling it up, and you kind of almost spin it around towards Nick, and you do still have your flashlight in your hand here, so it's kind of flashing towards it on the ground. It's spilling some light out. Chloe, you're just seeing this flashlight kind of go all around the place at this stage, and you can hear what sounds like a bit of a commotion off in the distance, but on the bunkhouses across from you, you are seeing some more planks coming down, and again, this sound, this ever-present sound all the way around here. Okay, Nick, it is now your turn. Jake has a hold of this thing. Right towards you. What are you going to do, my friend?
Push the knife into the temple.
Okay, all right, you do. Again, same kind of thing. I want you to roll for it. You're going to get a plus 40 to your roll.
Pass 46.
Okay, all right. Again, it's in a position where you're going to drive this thing straight into it. The two of you are working together really well in this instance, so this is going to work out for you. The knife goes in towards it. The spill of light is enough for you to see its temple, and you drive it into this thing's skull as it pierces through the kind of almost slightly bloated flesh on the surface. This kind of viscous, bloody, pussy mess runs down the knife onto your hand as you drive it into the thing's head. And you feel like a wave of sickness hits you as the smell of this putrid, viscous mess starts to run down your hands as this thing goes limp in your arms, Jake. Rigid for a second, and then just the arms flop down to its side.
When it does that and Nick pulls the knife out, I want to put it or chuck it on top of the other one that's on the ground.
Have it try and fall on top of it? Yeah. Okay, all right. Just roll a flat fight check to be able to do that.
22 pass.
Okay, all right, yeah. So as this thing is still trying to get up, you do drop this thing on top of it as it's trying to get through. Hindering it even further, and it does still try and reach out towards Nick at this stage. Okay, alright, so it manages to get a hold of your leg, Nick, just a basic kind of hold, and it's trying to pull itself up. It's trying to like grab at you. What would your intention be at this point as a defensive action?
Reaction would basically be to try and pull away as hard as I can.
Okay, all right. I want you to roll a fight for me. Again, this is still in a superior position for you, so you're going to get a plus 40 to that. Okay.
Pass 15.
Pass 15. Okay, all right. You do attempt to get away from this thing, but you don't quite manage to. So like you start pushing away, and again, like you can feel it's like it's trying to pull itself up towards you, and it does kind of like bring its mouth in towards you, and reach those kind of like horrid cracked teeth on towards your leg, and just start. But it can't get through the material on your legs. Not being able to get a good enough bite on there, it doesn't do anything to you. But it scares you for a second. All right, we're back round to your 2 turns.
Okay, now. Alright, so
This thing is currently it's right up there with with Nick. Sorry. So it's if you want to keep going the same way, if you want to go first, Nick, you can. Jake, if you want to go first, you can.
Nick, if you want to go first, up to you. I mean, it's right there with you right now. So
I thought his head was around my leg, isn't it? It's
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Fabric of my leg. Okay. Is it possible I could just drop down so I'd be kneeling on its head and then stab with the knife?
Yep, you can attempt to do it. It's going to be a little difficult because it's not exactly a superior position anymore. So you're going to take a -10. You are trying to hit its head with the knife, correct? So you're going to take a -10 to your
No,
to your
I would
fight
be
roll?
dropping onto it with my knee.
Yes.
And then once it was stable, then I'd... So if
That's the eventual
basically-
attack. So that's what you're intending to try and get to, but it's still going to be a
Yeah.
-10 up front to be able to do
Okay,
it.
cool, yeah.
You do have sigils as well, I will remind you of this. I know you've only got 2.
Yeah, I'm going to use one now.
Okay, alright, so you're going to get plus 25, so that's just going to leave you with 15, correct? How much did I say was minus? -10 before, yeah.
Minus 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fail, 92.
Okay,
Does he stab himself?
92. 92, okay, alright. So, alright, with there, you do try and like push it down towards the ground to like try and kneel on its head. But as you do, you feel your foot kind of slip out from underneath of you. You go down, you take it with you, but it's in a position where it's kind of over the top of you, and you've slipped like underneath of it, and it's still, its head was around your leg. It still managed to stay kind of in a knelt-like position, but it's not a good one for you to be in. Jake, it's your turn.
So how is it all set up now?
Okay, so at this point here, you're still along this pathway.
Yeah.
Nick is now prone on the ground with this thing over the top of him, and it still seems to be very much, its attention is on him. The thing that it's still trying to like get, it's got its arms around his leg, and it is currently trying to like bite into his right leg at this point.
Alright, am I able to sort of get down and on a grapple with the shotgun and sort of just get it in front of it and then sort of pull back and I'm sort of riding it?
Oh, so like you need come at it from behind type thing with
Yeah.
that, and then pull it back away.
Yeah.
You totally can.
Yeah.
And again,
So would that be grappling with it?
that is grappling, and essentially, you know, I don't know if I would count it as kind of flanking it in a sense. If you're going to be coming at it from behind,
Yeah.
you're going to get a plus 10 because there's 2 of you, and you're also going to get a plus 40 because you are still in a superior position to it as well.
So
So, it's going to be a 50. So it's looking pretty good for you, you could say.
Okay, and that's a 31.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So 31? All right, so you attempt to get a grapple on it. You get the shotgun round in front of it, and as the kind of shotgun gets around it, it lurches back for a second, kind of catching you off guard. Trying to move out the way, you're not able to initiate the grapple on it, and it still is on top of Nick. So you kind of like move out the way to get out of the way of its head as it kind of like lashes back up as something's trying to grab around it. It is now this creature's turn. Okay, alright, so on top of you, Nick, it is going to attempt to continue to bite into you. It's potentially very bad.
Yeah, no, I know.
Okay. Alright, we're going to do some calculations. So, Nick, what is your intention at this point? In terms of defense, are you going to try and push yourself away from it? You're going to try and block? It's essentially, like I said before, it's got its arms around your legs and lashed up at Jake like that, and it brings its head back down, trying to bite into your legs.
Oh dear. I would.
Dear me.
Sorry.
It's kind of trying to bite into your thigh, just to clarify for you there.
Bye.
Yeah.
Man, okay. It was bad. Basically, I don't really see any options except for try and stab it in the head again.
Yeah, so I mean, like, you can try and push yourself away from it. You can try and even get like the knife in there to try and like keep it away from you. You can't attack it this turn.
Well, in that case, the only thing I've really got is to push it away.
Okay.
Putting a knife in the way wouldn't.
All right. I need you to roll fight for me.
I think Jake's right. I think I'll have to use the sigil. Otherwise, I can't.
This is where you don't want to fail, because any fail will make it worse for you.
It's that's true. That's very true.
Sigilling.
Okay, you're sigilling? Okay, alright. So this is going to be a fight, but in the position that you're currently in as well. Just want to make sure I make this correct for you. No, it's no negatives to you. Okay.
It's a straight roll, it's still confusing.
Yeah. So it's straight for you. Yeah. So, straight roll for you. So plus 25 to your roll.
Sigil?
It's plus 25 from your sigil. Yeah.
Cool. I rolled a 54. Oh, I failed.
Is that a
No,
pass?
that's it. Because if you've got 39 fight plus 25.
Oh, yeah.
that's-
Well, I don't know if that was inclusive of the bonus or if that was the result of.
Sorry, 25 is your bonus. So
It's
25 on
Okay,
top of your
plus
top
25
skill.
on top of, so it was a flat roll plus 25. Okay, well, I got 54, so that's on the money.
Okay. All right. So you succeed in your defensive roll.
Wait,
No, it's not.
on the money.
It's not on the money. It's 10 off the
I was
money.
going to say,
Is it?
point.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
Ignore me, my maths is bad.
All right. Okay. So, calculations aside, there's a 23 number difference between the two of you. So it succeeded with a 77. However, because of your slightly thicker pants, we're considering that soft armor, meaning that there's going to take away 15 of that at this point, and so that's going to leave you what would have been a significant wound is now a minor wound, as you can feel like this thing, its teeth start to like dig into you, and again, in the darkness and the flashing of the light, you can't tell how bad this injury is, but you feel the jolt of pain as this thing starts to bite into your leg, and you feel the pain. You don't know how bad it is. You can't look in the intensity and in the action, but you do feel like this bite clamp down on your thigh. And you can hear its tone almost change from like aggressive to something almost weirdly satisfied. Okay, it is now both of your turn again. Decide who goes first and what y'all gonna do.
I'll, because he's distracted, I guess, if you let me go first, all I want to do is just run past and grab Nick and just fucking drag him.
So the thing is currently on top of Nick,
Right.
biting down into his leg.
Right, so I'm gonna
if
drag
you
it.
grab
Yeah.
Nick, you're probably going to drag
Right,
it
no,
with you.
I'm gonna go
just
for-
letting you know what you can
Yeah.
see.
Yes, it is. No, I'll
You have a gun on you, right?
yeah, really shit shot, and there's another person right there. See, when there's a person behind
And
the person I
saying-
want to shoot, typically I
And
don't
say- oh,
aim again.
and
He is
say-
about to take my side.
In saying this, when you are in very, very close range with a weapon, especially a firearm, you can, especially if the thing is as occupied with this as it is, you could probably get away with trying to place it up against it and shoot it in the head. I'm just telling you, what you think you might be able to do with your actions.
It would also make a noise.
No,
to
I
action,
was
but you were
literally-
planning.
There's a positive and a negative to every
I was
action.
planning on that as well, but then my shoot is so low that I didn't want to risk it to hit someone.
Use a sigil and you'll probably get a bonus from it being like this close. Like,
Even though it's technically, not a melee action, you're in melee range.
Exactly.
You could get superior position. You've got flank. You've got
Yeah,
Other things.
it is one of those actions that I would consider to be a coup de grace within like the proper circumstances.
oh sure, right.
So
So very situational.
it's not like you're always just going to be a wait for something to walk right up towards you and like, oh, it's my turn now, I place it on its head.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work
Yeah,
like
obviously.
that. The thing is very occupied. It is still moving around. It's not moving around as much. So it is completely up to you what you do.
It's just because every time we have done any sort of shooting, it's always been really not in our favour.
I've always done pretty well.
No, and this sort of stuff. I'm just remembering the fight at the fucking at Eddie's Rock. It was so terrible.
So Jake, what are you going to do?
If I really do feel like if I put it on its head and it's not going to slip out, I will shoot in a non-Nick direction.
You specified that.
But I'll also use a sigil to fucking. So what bonuses do I get for that?
Yeah, like
Okay,
if we're
so
doing this,
I
it's probably gonna get-
would categorize you. You don't usually get a superior position for this, but in the situation that you are, I would allow you to apply that plus 40
And I
to
can
your
charge
shoot.
at the same time.
So you're not charging. You are not charging. But this
well,
thing is
let's
the
give
thing
me
is
a
the thing is
position.
occupied at this point. Very much occupied with Nick. It thinks it's in it to win it.
Yep.
So
That's your intention.
Yep. So if I got that, I'll use a sigil.
Start to reach out towards it, pulling your gun from the holster. Oh, this was your shotgun?
No, I got the pistol.
Okay, good.
Got the
I was just
pistol.
like, okay, it's the pistol. So you had your shotgun in your hand.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you just like kind of put the shotgun to the side for now.
You're at
Take out the
100.
pistol, reaching
Yeah,
out
yeah.
towards it.
you're at 100.
yeah,
Am I?
yeah. Well, it's 73 with just the bonus. Then it's going to be plus 25 for the
25.
sigil.
So that's
and-
good. So yes,
Yeah,
use the
so
sigil
like-
in this instance, and then yes, I
Yeah.
will potentially count it as that.
So that's 36 pass, obviously.
Okay.
Can we do a system where if your points are over 100, all extra points get added to your roll?
Okay. So you're down to 2 sigils at this point.
There you
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you take your gun out. With speed, dropping the shotgun to the floor, you take out your pistol, place it at this thing's head, and just you fire. And Chloe, you hear this. Everyone inside your bunkhouse, you hear this shot ring out. And Nick, you feel like this again, similar to the one before. This mess of just viscera kind of like pour out, like down onto in and around your region. So you got some mess over you at this point, and it does stop. Its teeth are still kind of like wrapped around your leg at this point, but it's stopped moving, and the tension of its jaws are still there on your leg. We're out of combat. What are we doing?
Getting the shotgun, holstering pistol, getting the shotgun, grabbing Nick by the arm, pulling him up, and we are fucking out of here.
Okay.
Later, nerds.
Yep, let's go.
You grab him, bring him back up to his feet, and Nick does almost look like white in the face. Even with like your torchlight, you can see a little bit of that. And Nick, I need you to roll a Constitution check for me.
8, pass.
Okay, so with all of this mess that's on you, the stuff that's on your hand, the stuff that's all like down the front of you now at this point, you do kind of have that moment with the smell and everything else. Just you feel like what you ate for dinner start to slowly just come up, but you manage to keep it down as Jake grabs you, pulling you further down the path. And as you exit the bush, the moonlight does hit you and you can kind of see a little bit more. Nick, you have no idea how bad the injury on your leg is at this point, although you know it hurts. It hurts, but you just don't know how bad it was. Moving towards the shoreline, you can see in the moonlight your boat's off in the distance.
So once
Floating
we're through there in the open, clear, we radio through, be like, we're on our way to the boats. As soon as you guys can, get out there and try start picking them off from behind
Okay, so
quietly.
both you and Nick ran really quite quickly from there down towards the shore.
Fucking A, we did.
And as this radio call does come through, Chloe, all of the plagued that were up against all the lifeless that were up against this bunkhouse, the nail pulling and everything has stopped, and all of that attention is now focused towards where that shot came from. And you can hear the groans, the moans, the sounds of this group moving away from the bunkhouse and down towards the sound. You see them shifting, sloshing through the grass outside. This call comes through, and that's where we're going to end this part.
Okay.
We don't know what condition Nick is in, but he does seem shaken, suitably shaken by the event. And so, we'll see you all in the next. Thank you for joining us for this one. I've been Rycon, you have all been awesome, and until next time, stay breathing.